Hey guys, welcome back to Trendy Gadget. Today we'll talk about why the Apple M1 chip is useless. Let's head into it. Number 12. What is the Apple M1 chip? Of course, the biggie specs-wise is the M1 system on a chip. The M1 is an 8-core CPU for on-device machine learning tasks with 4 performance and 4 efficiency cores, as well as an 8-core GPU and a 16-core neural engine. It's the first Apple-designed CPU and GPU for the Mac, based on the ARM instruction set. Apple's laptops have had Intel CPUs and either Intel, Nvidia, or AMD graphics for well over a decade. Here begins the transition away from that status quo. The Mac Mini ships with 8GB of RAM by default, but that can be upgraded to 16GB. That's a lot less than the Intel Mac Mini's 64GB cap, but that Intel Mac Mini still exists in Apple's lineup for now. Apple has currently only substituted Apple Silicon variants for its very bottom-end machines. It looks like we're going to wait a while before we get more RAM and more ports with beefier versions. Like the M1 Mac Mini and the 13-inch MacBook Pro have only 2 Thunderbolt ports each, rather than 4, which is a very real bummer for a lot of people.
Brand new shiny silicon, the M1 chip, and with this coupled in our build here is 8GB of RAM.
Number 11. Pricing. On MacBooks, there were no price decreases, but on these platforms, I estimate Apple pockets $150 to $200 more on these platforms that'll go right to the bottom line. Nothing is wrong with making profits, but at least throw a bone at your base. The Mac Mini received a small drop in price. Number 10. External graphics. From what I understand, it doesn't support external graphics. This might not be the worst problem, because on this 13-inch MacBook platform, or the Mini, I question how many users want to play AAA games and run workstation apps. As Pro connotes professional, the Pro moniker could throw people away. Number 9. No Intel upsell on MacBook Air or Mini. On the Pro, but not the Air or the Mini, Apple offered a $100 upsell to Intel. Customers want a choice, and I'd prefer Apple to give these platforms an option. I like what Microsoft has done by offering both Intel and AMD on its Surface laptop line. Microsoft offers Qualcomm and Intel processor options for tablets as well.
Or virtualizing other operating systems on your Intel-powered Mac. That's going to be a problem with the M1 powered Macs.
Number 8. 16GB Macs on Pro. I think MacBook Pro's Pro connotes professional, and many experts want 32GB of video transcoding, editing, coding, and visualization memory. Users can get it on the Intel platform if you want 32GB. Number 7. Lack of connectivity. Given the improved battery life, it will be expected that the new MacBooks would have at least 4G, maybe 5G modem, as I think it reduces its BOM cost by $150 to $200. Apple certainly has the budget for them. Stop protecting the iPad. Come on, Apple. Number 6. Lack of full display touch. The new Macs will run iPhone and iPad apps that have touch as their primary user interface. Windows OEMs have demonstrated that with very small bezels, thickness, and without sucking too much power, you can add touch. Apple had the opportunity to finally add touch to its MacBooks, to play with $150 to $200, and the company blew it up. Number 5. Claim substantiation. On any of its competitive performance per watt and battery life claims, Apple provided no detailed substantiation. I think vendors should at least demonstrate what hardware has been tested, its configuration, and what benchmarks have been used. At the bare minimum, it used to be done by Apple, and I don't know why it stopped. My guess is that Apple believes it's trusted by everyone and no longer needs to provide substantiation for competitive claims. Maybe if your company was the richest on the planet, you would do the same thing, or possibly not. Number 4. Upgrades. Want to upgrade post-purchase memory or storage? Since you can't do this, you're out of luck. This is particularly troubling for a new platform, because users don't really know much memory or storage they will need, especially with applets such as Rosetta 2 and a new operating system that are compatible. Number 3. Compatibility. There was little or no talk of software or peripherals being compatible. Let me be clear, on these new platforms, there will be software and peripherals that will not work, and some that will not work well, and those expectations should be set by Apple. What I heard from WWDC was that everything that isn't going to be true is going to run. That analysis can be found here. Number 2. x86 support. There was no talk or commitment about how long the Intel-based platforms will be supported by Apple. If you remember, with the power to Intel transition, it got ugly as the many users felt abandoned after a few years by Apple for cutting off support. Apple should just at least provide how many new generators it will support upgrades, just like iOS devices. Number 1. No new form factors. A new shape factor elicits excitement, as we have seen with the iPhone, and is almost guaranteed to drive a supercycle or near supercycle. We also see this effect on the iPad, especially when the form factor is greatly improved. We saw this to some extent when Apple added the touch bar. I think customers who are not afraid of the new M1 processor will be less likely to buy the new Mac, because the form factor has not changed.
Did Apple use that opportunity to redefine the look of the MacBook Air or the Pro? No.
Hopefully, you have a better understanding of why Apple's M1 chip is so bad and useless. It wasn't a complete disaster, but the company could have made it a lot better. What do you think about the Apple's new M1 chip? Do you agree that it's useless? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.